space. So if there's anything that you would like to know, please do pop it into the feed and I will certainly do my best to answer all of your questions. So as I said, tonight's session is all about interiors, and I want to share my recent trip with you. In fact, I have not long come back to Queensland, hopped off the plane returning from Hobart, and while I was there, I was lucky enough to go and visit some industry people, but also have a look around at some of the beautiful architecture that exists within that town. They're just amazing houses and, period homes that are very indicative of, early settlement, etc. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about colour and how you can use it within those spaces, because I know that I do tend to focus a lot on modern new homes, and, that's fair enough because most of our questions do sort of focus around that. However, I thought, I'll pay homage to some of the beautiful homes and talk about how you can use, for example, our fantastic 2022 to 2024 colour forecast, which is titled Chromatic Joy. There are some divine colours in there, and I particularly gravitate towards, there's some really deep, luxurious tones that I feel sit really well inside homes that have a lot of ornate detail. And we're talking about ceiling roses and the really wide cornice, followed by a picture rail and large skirting and architrave, etc. Where you've got lots of detail that you certainly can bring to life. So I've got notes here because I need to keep myself on track tonight, because it's been a very, very long day. So I'm just going to quickly refer to make sure that I am covering everything I want to cover. So I did mention Colorsmith, so I'm going to take you into that and show you where you can get colours from and how you can then play with the colours. You can intensify, dilute, you can leverage combinations and create a beautiful colour palette. So, to create a spectacular space, colour is critical, as is the product that you use. So I'm also going to talk about some of the finishes that are available, and especially when you're talking about older style homes where you've got uneven walls, etc. And obviously if you start to increase the sheen level, then you start to bring to life imperfections that exist. So it's really important that when it's not only to create that space, it's not only the colour that we use, but it's certainly the products and the finish, the sheen level. So, and luckily for everybody, we have pretty well some amazing interior broadwall paints like Taubmans Endure that is available in a matte, and certainly for today's project that I'm talking about, that would be the finish or the sheen level that I would certainly recommend, because it's going to stop light, any glancing light. It's going to hide imperfections. So that would be the way that I would go, and I'll also bring an image, etc. up onto the screen so that you can see what I'm referring to. So let me have a look. So I do have, when I came home this afternoon, I quickly drew up an image just so that you can see what I'm referring to. So I'm going to take you to my iPad, and I will pop myself up in the corner. Hopefully it works. Yes, fantastic. So this is an old, like a period style home that I have drawn up, very reminiscent of having beautiful warm timber floors, and then lots and lots of detail, and you can really play with colour, because you'll hear me talking about how colour is very personal. Colour has the ability to evoke an emotion, and I do think that we've seen some quite we've just been through a pandemic, if you like, with COVID, and very uncertain times, and generally you'll see when we go through a pandemic, things evolve. And so our colour palette, our 2022 to 2024 colour palette is a result of that. But you'll see that people start to use colour to make themselves feel alive, if you like, because colour really does play on your emotions. And colour is very personal. And I believe, I can talk to you and I can show you all the latest trend colours. I can tell you where to use them, etc. But at the end of the day, it's your colour journey, it's your story, and it's about what you want to put in your space. So, colour, as I said, it makes you feel things. And so at the end of a pandemic, we rely on colour to, reignite life, if you like. And so I'm showing you tonight, like in a space where you've got lots of detail, where you can use some really intense color to bring some of it to life, and it works really, really well. And so in a space like this where you've got a really high ceiling that really commands the use of color, you can start by using a deep tone on your ceiling. You could take it down if you like to the picture rail, but in this instance, for this image, I've taken it just on the ceiling, also on the cornice itself. It's a double cornice. I've introduced a beautiful deep green that has a blue undertone that sits extremely well. And then I've coupled that with a white, but it's a warmer white. And the reason that we've gone for a warmer white is because when you look at the exterior of these dwellings, a lot of them, for example, have a lot of sandstone, etc. on them. And so it's nice to bring some of the period features and the warmth that exists within the sandstone from the outside in. So this just shows you how you can use, for example, our new Chromatic Joy Colour Forecast, and you can still use it in a setting that is, you know, more old world, if you like. And I think it works extremely well. And as you can see there, we've used 3 colours. I think it's very well balanced due to the fact that we've got quite a dark ceiling, and then below, sort of like a dado. I haven't actually put in the timber boards or the profile, if you like, but you would classify that as a dado, and we've sort of injected a deep colour into that as well, so you've got the balance happening. And when you're creating a space, it's very important that you get balance with the colours that you use, and especially something like this. So I'm going to bring myself back to the camera. Okay, fantastic. So I want to show you, let me just see if I've missed anything here that I'm mentioning. Okay, I want to show you where you can shop for colour, and then I'm going to show you where you can find products that we're talking about. And I'll just check to see if there's any questions come through yet. I don't think so. All right, we'll continue on. So there's a few ways that we can shop for colour, and you can go straight to www.taubmans.com.au. So I'll take you to our website, and then I can show you where you'll find colour. Okay, oh, beautiful, it's working. Okay, so as I said, www.taubmans.com.au, and it'll take you to our homepage or our landing page, and then along here you've got different tabs. So it is extremely user-friendly. So where it says colours, I'm going to go down to where it says paint colours. And here, very easy, all of the colours have been grouped by colour name or colour family, if you like. So if you're looking for white and neutral, this is where we would start. But if you continue on down, well, there's colour visualizer. This is where you can play with images and get a feel for how colour's going to look within your space. This is all about our Chromatic Joy Colour Forecast. And then also, this is a fantastic place to go. So from here where it says order colour swatches, which you can do, but you can find many, many colours, and you can find information that relates to the colour, like the RGBs, the LRV, which is the light reflectance value. So I'm going to click on it. And here we go. So this has, again, colour grouped by names or family, if you like. It has our Chromatic Joy. It has All Colours, Colour Bond, NCS Colours, which is our natural colour system. And also, if you go into here, you can search for a colour name. So this is a fantastic place to start. So I'm going to actually hit Chromatic Joy, and I'm going to, so I showed you the image on screen, and obviously these colours, because of the way screens are, etc., these may look a little bit different. So I have used 36 and 37. So these are our, so that's the Chromatic Joy number 36, Chromatic Joy number 37. These are the New Zealand selection or collection, if you like, of the Chromatic Joy, and I think they are the most beautiful, divine colours, and they sit really, really well. And then what I've also used, I'll just continue through here, is a beautiful white, so you can see the gorgeous colours available. I've used pale cream. because as I was talking before, I want something that's slightly warmer, that's going to be reminiscent of sandstone that exists on the exterior of the dwelling. So this is certainly a fantastic place to start. Now the next thing that I want to show you, and I'll go back to paint colours, we'll go back up, is products. Now before I mentioned a product, so I'm going to go down. So if you go back to your landing page, hover your mouse over products, you'll get a drop down menu, and here I'm going to go straight to interior paints. And we have Taubmans Endure. This is a fantastic product. And we also have, it's available in different sheen levels, so matte, low sheen and semi-gloss. So you're going to want to be looking for this, but for the project that I'm talking about tonight, we want to be using a matte finish so that it's going to hide any imperfections. However, when we were talking before and I was saying that we're bringing sort of dado board and your picture rail and things like that to life, this is where you can, up the sheen level if you like. And so for a picture rail and your doors, etc., why not use a gloss? And especially if you're going to use colour as such, what it does when you gloss up an area, it intensifies the colour. And the easiest way for anybody at home, if you've got yourself a colour chip and you're not too sure what that's going to look like, get yourself a piece of clear sticky tape, pop it over the colour chip, and then you can see how the colour changes. It's fantastic, and it's a really good way to see if you're thinking about perhaps even, you're looking at colour and you're thinking about using a particular colour for your front door or internal doors, etc., because the internal doors do look fantastic when you put some colour onto them. Certainly glossing up looks fabulous. I highly recommend it. Now the other thing I also recommend is when we talk about colour is to ensure that, I should come back on screen here, is to ensure that we sample our colour. I find from dealing with consumers day to day, and you'll find me quite often in a hardware store at a colour wall, helping consumers that are deliberating over colour, offering some advice. I do find that one of the most frequently, one of the most frequent comments is, I've used a white and it doesn't look the way I wanted it to look. Perhaps Jane down the road's used a particular white that you loved in her place and you've brought it into your house and it's just not working the same way or performing the same way. So to avoid disappointment when you are, deliberating over which colour you'd like to use, get yourself a sample pot. And what I recommend is 3 coats onto a large piece of cardboard. Now we're talking about 1 metre by 1 metre square. And the reason that you want to go that large is so you can see how the colour is going to play within its environment. And there are 2 places that I suggest you trial your colour. So now that you've painted out your piece of cardboard and you've given it 3 coats of your sample pot colour, let it dry, then pop it right up in the corner, right up near your cornice or next to your ceiling if you like. So on the wall, here's your ceiling, so you're popping it right up there. And what that does is it gives you the ability to see how the colour is going to look under natural light, under artificial light, so when you're popping your lights on, and also if it's going to work within the space. The other area to look at is if you put it down near the flooring, then you can see what happens. And again, for example, we're talking about an older style home tonight, and homes that have beautiful timber flooring, even the wide Baltic floorboards, etc., they tend to have, especially Baltic, it tends to have quite a golden sort of hue to it. And what that can do is that colour itself can actually influence the wall colour. So if you're shopping for a white, if you like, and you're wanting quite a cool white and you've got that next to your floorboards, you can see that it's going to take on some of the tones of the floor at certain times of day. The other thing also to consider is, what colour furnishings you have within the place. So, for example, I use this analogy all the time, but if you have a red leather lounge, that could also influence the wall colour, and in certain times of day, certain lights make the wall colour look slightly pink. So these are things to consider, and that's why I always recommend trialling your colour so that you're not going to be disappointed, but more so that you can see how it's going to perform within your space. It's certainly something that's, I think it's really critical especially when you start using more color, when you're starting to use bolder, deeper or brighter colors and saturating your space in color. I think it's important to trial it just to make sure that it's going to hit the mark for you. I suggest saturating a space in color. I think it looks fantastic, and this is what these sessions are about. It's all about having you commit to color, giving you confidence with color. So go for it, I say. Okay, what else did I have on here that I wanted to just touch on? Okay, I do actually also want to take you through and show you the app. So I'm going to go back to the iPad and pop myself up in the corner on the screen. And we're going to go, so when we look at Colorsmith, which is an amazing tool to help everybody out there to create color, match a particular color, or if you are, look, even if you're a stylist and you're thinking, okay, I've got these colors that exist within the space and I need to go out and buy accessories, etc., to dress a space, you can leverage the combinations function of the app, and it will bring up a color palette of colors that are designed to go with the color that you have. It's fantastic. So what I'm going to do is take you to the app now. So you can see on screen, the first thing that you need to do is to download the app itself. You can either download it from the Apple Store or from Google Play, as you can see there. So I might just give you a moment if you're wanting to download the app, and then you can follow me and see what I'm doing. So I'll just give you a couple of seconds. Alrighty, so and then you can see at the top of the screen the app itself. So I'm going to tap on that, and it's going to bring you to a screen that looks like this. So this is your home screen, and from here we can create color. We can view the fantastic collection of colors that are available within the app itself. So if you are shopping for color, this is a fantastic place also to start, along with our website. So as you can see here, it's been preloaded with our new color forecast, Chromatic Joy. We also have some fantastic new trends, and you'll see them. I do have a card here. It has some of the wonderful colors, and these colors you'll see, here we go. They all have been created with Colorsmith, and on the back here, ta-da, there's all the QR codes. So they are all in the app itself. So you've got bold, Scandinavian, Hamptons, contemporary, whites and neutrals. And I think when you're shopping for whites or you're shopping for neutrals, there's something to consider. So one of the questions that I get asked quite a lot about are about greys. And I talk all the time about how I like to put greys into 4 categories. And that is either it's a greige, it is a blue grey, a red or purple grey, or it is a green grey, which is what I like to describe as a neutral grey. And so anybody that is shopping for colour and starting their colour journey, and they're particularly after grey, I say start with a neutral or a green-based grey, because we know that it's going to work with so many other colours. It's almost chameleon-like, and it does allow for using in areas, for example, that have low light or that do get saturated by a lot of natural light. So you find it quite moody, but it accommodates, and it is just the most beautiful tone of grey. So if you're shopping for grey and you want to know what I'm talking about, if you click on the neutrals, and you can start to see as I scroll down here, yeah, you can see it here, how the neutrals are grouped together, and you can see what I'm talking about. So below you've got more of a blue-based grey, and then you've got sort of your greeny sort of based greys. You've got greige happening here, and then there's even a purple-based grey. So this sort of puts it all together, and they're stacked upon each other, allowing you to see the difference. Again, when you're shopping for whites, you can start to see the difference. So, you know, when you're looking for whites, you've got a white that is either, I like to put it primarily into 3 groups. So you've got a warm white, a cool white, or you have a neutral white. So your warm white is fantastic for areas that are very low light, and because what that will do is it will warm up the space. Your cool white is fantastic for areas that are saturated with light, because it's not going to look dirty or anything like that. It just looks fantastic. And then you've got your neutral toned whites, which generally work in a lot of spaces as well. So again, fantastic app here and a fantastic place to start when you're shopping for color and you're unsure of, you know, the different undertones of white. This, as I said, they're all stacked upon each other, and you can start to see, I'm looking up at them now, you can see the different undertones coming to life. And the other tip I will give you while I'm here is, when you go into the hardware store and you're looking, or you know, you're standing at a color wall and you're deliberating over color, go armed. And so what I mean by that is, take in with you a piece of white paper and then place your other white color chips up against it, and then you can start to see the undertone that exists within the white, because obviously all whites, other than brilliant white, have a certain amount of tint that goes into it, you know, and some have got some. So for example, our number one white is Taubmans Crisp White. It has raw umber. It is the most beautiful white. And I certainly recommend that a lot. I have it in my own home. I think it is just stunning. And you know what? It works in areas that are very, very dull, if you like. We've got some areas that don't get a lot of natural light, but we also have areas that are just completely saturated with sun. So it accommodates both of those spaces extremely well. And the other thing that I want to show you within the app is Chromatic Joy. So I'm going to bring that up, and you can see here all of our colors. Our color forecast has all been popped into here. And these are the tones below that I've sort of been referring to before. So I'm going to just bring one of them up, just to show you what you can do. So you can start with one of our Chromatic Joy colors. You can use that, but then what you can do is, if you're wanting to create, say, a monochromatic color scheme, you can leverage the intensity and you can start to dial down the color, and you can see at the bottom sort of the screen the varying strengths of that color. So this is where you can play with color. And also too, if you're thinking, what color can I put with it, you can hit the combinations function, and it's bringing up some beautiful colors here that have been designed to sit with the color that you already have. So you can really start to play, and I particularly like the fourth one across, that beautiful soft greeny blue tone. I think that sits extremely well. Even the end color there, that's almost got a slight purpley tinge, sits beautifully with that as well. So it's so easy. You've got color at your fingertips. You no longer have to think about, how am I going to put a cohesive color scheme together? This does it all for you. So I'm going to come back to the screen. Now the other thing that I want to make mention of as well, I don't think I have any questions at this point in time. I'm just checking. The other thing I want to talk about as well is, we had a session last week that we were very fortunate to have Kyle and Cara with us doing a colour session, and it was fantastic to learn all about their experience with colour, how they use colour within their renovations and their new builds, and also how they've embraced Colorsmith and what they do with Colorsmith when they are designing their spaces. So if you haven't had an opportunity to have a look at that, it is in our on our Facebook page. You can see, you can sort of go back to last week's session. It's there, and so are many other sessions that we have had through the year and last year, etc., etc. So before we conclude this evening, we don't have too many sessions left for this year. It's not long until we sign off for 2022. Oh my goodness. So for the next few sessions, it's look, it's a great opportunity if you're out there and you're wanting to receive some colour advice before we hit the holiday period, and you're wanting to go and, whether you're going to paint, whether you're renovating, whether you're building, etc. So please feel free to drop us a direct message or an email, and we'd certainly love to bring some of your colour queries, or even some of your colour projects that you're wanting some help on to life. We can certainly do that for you. So use it as a platform. As I said, we only have a few more weeks before we conclude. So I'm pretty sure, I'll just make sure that I haven't missed any questions before I end tonight's session. Just bear with me for a moment. I'd say it's a, oh no, here we go, there's something happening. I'd say it's a very, very quiet night tonight, but that's okay. All right, so I'm going to conclude tonight's session and say thank you very much, everybody, for joining us this evening. We certainly look forward to catching you next week, same time, same place. And until then, everybody, stay safe and happy painting.